Hey, how's it going, everybody? Jamie MacDonald here, back from Pennsylvania, where I attended the Olympus Visionary Summit. And it is something that we do annually as part of the Olympus Visionary program. We all get together, and it's just a good, fun time. Kind of like a bonding experience, I guess you could say, for the group. But the exciting thing that we get to do, also aside from hanging out and shooting with each other, is we get to do this round table type deal. Basically we just kind of hang out in a conference room, and we bounce ideas off each other, suggestions, and we do that in the presence of R&D people that are usually here from Olympus, Japan, which is a totally cool opportunity. So I know I kind of hit on that on my last video, that I was going to be doing that, and I had asked for your feedback, your ideas and suggestions for me to take there. And I think in total I had close to, it was just under or just over, I lost count. I stopped counting after I got there, to be honest with you. It was right around 200 people had commented, left feedback and suggestions, on YouTube and direct via email and on Twitter, Facebook messages. So it was awesome to get so much feedback from you guys. It was pretty overwhelming, actually. So what I kind of did was I took some of the top, the ones that were repeated most often, and I consider those like the top suggestions. And those are the ones that I took to the round table with me. I tried to narrow it down to like about 5 of them, and I'll just touch base on a couple of the ones, probably like the top couple, and just let you know how that all worked out. So pretty much what number 1 was, and it kind of surprised me that it was something like this, but it was the My Sets feature on our cameras. Apparently a lot of people use the My Sets, and one of the biggest complaints is the fact that, well, that they're named My Set, that you can't custom name them. I mean, it's cool that you can do it, but it'd be cooler if you could name it. So for example, if you're somebody like me who's out shooting landscape, but I occasionally will shoot something that has action, like one of my kids playing sports, and I actually have a My Set set up for sports. It's going to be the lower burst speed with continuous autofocus. I have my auto ISO set, kind of high for that, so that I can get as fast of a shutter speed as possible. And I don't remember which My Set it is, because I don't use it that often. But if I could name it sports, how cool would that be? So I could just, pull up the My Set for sports, and boom, there you go. Kind of cool. And again, like I said, it was kind of surprising that that was such a big feature request from so many people. So that was delivered to the R&D guys, and it was very well received. I think that it's probably one of those things that we could see in a firmware update. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. It might be something that they hear about or get requested fairly often on their end as well. So that was like the number 1. Another one that I got, and it's funny because this one came not via YouTube, but I repeatedly seemed to get this one on Facebook, and I know my Facebook friends list and all that, is a different set of people than just the general public here on YouTube, so maybe that's why I got like different feedback over there. But TTL with our flashes is great. Wireless TTL, it works great. Radio TTL, what's that? We don't have that. We don't have Pocket Wizard support yet, which blows my mind. I don't know why there isn't a third party doing that kind of support yet, but there's not. So one of the suggestions that had gotten brought up several times, and I like the thought of this one too, take advantage of the wireless transceiver, the Wi-Fi transceiver that's built into the cameras, and be able to use that to transmit information back and forth to a speed light. That would require a whole new speed light, or it could be done via an accessory, that you would slip your speed light onto, and then that would be able to receive the information. Again, kind of like a Pocket Wizard type setup. Pretty popular idea, and it's something that that I would like to see done. I don't do a whole lot, I'm more nature wildlife kind of guy, but there have been some occasions where I'm using off-camera lighting and actually shooting a couple of skateboarders from a distance, it would have been kind of cool to not have to 100% rely on line of sight, you know, with the optical triggering and optical TTL system that Olympus has. It'd been cool to be able to do it with radio. So who knows, you know, again, it was one of those suggestions, and I think, you know, let's just see going down the road what we get. Lenses. So that was kind of another one too, and this is one that I really want. I asked for, and you asked for, sealed primes. I love the primes. If you've shot with any of the Mzuiko primes, you understand why. The primes are just the bomb. I love them all. I would love them twice as much if they were sealed. I like to shoot outdoors. It's not always sunny when I'm out shooting. Heck, if you watched any of my stuff before, you'll know that if it's raining and storming, I'm probably just as likely to be out in that as I am like on a nice sunset evening or something. So weather sealed primes. And I also just kind of threw in there, I'd like to see the focus clutch on like every single one of the primes. I know it would take a revamp of the primes, and I get it, you know, for people who've invested in the primes already, you know, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't want to have to reinvest again, but for somebody getting into it new, having a weather sealed primes aside from like the 60mm macro, it'd be awesome. I know I'd like it. And kind of tying into the to the lens discussion just now, without saying anything that I'm not allowed to say because things are mentioned at these meetings that are, you know, NDA'd. I can't really talk to them or about them publicly. But I will just say that lens development is continuing. You know, we know that the 7-14 is coming up, the 300mm f4 is coming up, and those occupy space in what is considered the pro line, you know, where we've got the 12-40 and now the 40-150, both just beautiful lenses. Expect that line of lenses to grow. I can't say one way or another what that means, other than just expect that area of their lens family to grow. So, you know, we touched on a few other things. You know, we touched on things like being able to customize your menus, building a custom menu in camera, or, so I'll mention building a custom menu in camera, the naming of the My sets. Those things, it was discussed to be able to do those, but not just do them in camera, but to be able to do them via the OI Share app on your mobile device, using some sort of a, maybe like a camera simulator built into the app. You know, rather than trying to do it all, you know, on your camera, how cool would it be to just pull out your phone or your tablet, name your My set, build your My set, and then wirelessly send it over to your camera. I'd dig that. I'd really like that. So I'm hoping to see that as something that comes out in the future as well. Again, that was just one of those things that was just really well received, and it was something that just, they kind of built a level of excitement with everybody in the room, the thought about being able to do that. Something that was brought up by a member of the Visionary Trailblazer program, Tracy McGlosky, had just this genius idea. So she does a lot of wedding and portraiture, and lots of times if she's doing a group, she might be set up on a tripod, and she, like I and a lot of people, prefers center weighted metering. And she has found that if she's doing like off-camera lighting with speed lights or what have you, and if, let's say, the person in the front of her group photo is wearing like a dark suit or a tux or something like that, and she gets focus on him or her, whoever's wearing the dark clothes, the metering is done center weighted on that person, and she finds sometimes that when the flash is triggered, they overexpose because they metered off of a dark article of clothing. Her idea, love it, was to actually be able to use the touchscreen to enable a mode where you can meter off of a different spot on the screen wherever you touch. Functions similar to, like, we'll say auto exposure lock, but rather than using auto exposure lock where she would actually have to take the camera off the tripod, find a spot in the scene where she could meter, set it back down, lock it back into the tripod, and then shoot. Rather than do that, she could just touch a spot on the screen, meter from there, and shoot. You know, it's things like that that get discussed at this roundtable discussion, you know. Just kind of outside the box thinking, you know, thinking about doing things a different way, improving upon existing technologies. And again, you know, super cool to be able to bring your ideas there. Another one that was brought up was the addition of a secondary SD card slot. You know, there's not really room in the body. I know it looks like there probably is, but we've been assured several times by the engineers that there really isn't a whole lot of room inside the camera to be adding another SD card. But to add one in a battery grip, now we're getting possible, you know. Things like that. Integrated, how about an integrated Arca plate into the bottom of battery grip or the camera? Who needs a plate anymore in a tripod if something like that was integrated? How cool would that be? So things like that, you know, are what you could expect to hear at that roundtable discussion, in addition to your questions, the ones that I took on your behalf. I took more than what I mentioned. I'm just trying to keep this brief. I just wanted to get back and touch base with you and let you know that that you were well represented at that table. Not just by me either. Alex McClure, fellow Trailblazer, also fielded dozens and dozens of questions from people through social media. So just know that we listen. Olympus listens. They listen to you directly when you email. They listen to you via forums. They watch and see what's going on. And then they listen to you through people like myself and Alex McClure. So gonna wrap it up. I'm behind on a little bit of client work and time to get back to work. I'm sure you understand how that goes. So until the next video, again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for the input and feedback. It's super cool to be able to take that. And talk to you guys later. Bye.